Hey guys, in this video I'm going to speculate wildly about potential future jobs inside a virtual economy. If you don't know what a virtual economy is, please go and watch my video about virtual economies. A lot of these jobs will only exist if virtual real estate is a thing. Some of these jobs are obvious and some maybe not so much. Most of these are already jobs today, but if virtual economies become a thing, these jobs will have a new space to grow into and might evolve into something more unique. This is all speculative, so don't go planning your life around a future job that a cartoon deer told you will exist. Number 1. 3D Modeler. This is one of the obvious ones. In a virtual world, almost everything you see is going to be a 3D model. You might work for a 3D modeling studio or be a solo artist. I'm guessing in the beginning it will be mostly solo artists who will go through the entire process of modeling, texturing, and rigging themselves. Later on, if you work for a studio, these could all become separate jobs, just like they are in various studios today. If you're good at low poly modeling already, then you're all set to go. You can either work by contract or by selling goods directly to users. It's up to you. You would be making avatars, buildings, furniture, props, and much more. This will probably be the most common job. Number 2, coder. This is another obvious one. In the beginning, you may need to be a modeler and a coder. Assuming the company running this virtual world allows users to attach scripts to items, you'll be giving those virtual goods their functionality. What's the point of a cool jetpack if it doesn't work? Maybe the developers will employ some kind of heuristic analysis to check your code to see if it's doing something it shouldn't be, or maybe it'll be a human code reviewer. Whatever it is, I think the devs will solve issues around allowing users to upload scripts, and coder will become the second most common job. Number 3, shader coder. Yet another obvious one. If you don't know what shaders are, to put it vaguely, they run on your GPU and ultimately control how 3D models are rendered. It's a specialized field, and that's why I have it listed as a separate job from coder. You'll most likely be writing shaders for avatars, items, and worlds, and make a lot of money doing so, but I don't think many people will have this job. Number 4, VR Exterior Designer. This job will exist if developers go the virtual land route. On a virtual land, you'll need some sort of building or statue or whatever to represent the entrance to your world. It's going to be very important that this visual representative for your world look very attractive and eye-catching. This will be a specialized field, different from architectural roles today, simply because in VR your structure does not need to be sound. Things can be suspended in the air and anchored to nothing. Things can fly around and nothing needs to bear load. So this will be a more artistic role than it currently is. Number 5, VR Interior Designer. What's a good exterior without a good interior? On the exterior you have limited space, but on the interior you may have near unlimited space, but it needs to look visually appealing and cohesive. Things like scale are difficult to master, and the layouts will need to change depending on the type of locomotion that is available. In the beginning, exterior and interior designers will probably be a single job and only split up later once VR presence becomes very important. Number 6, VR Busker. We're finally getting into the less obvious ones. You're most likely going to be standing in a common area, singing or doing whatever busking talent you have, hoping others will give you bits of their currency. Maybe you'll be the first one that gets discovered by a record label in VR. Other types of busker would be things like fortune teller or poet. Number 7, comedian or storyteller or lecturer. If you're a starting comedian or storyteller or lecturer, this may be a great way to deliver your material. People from all over can listen to you. You get an audience more diverse than the ones that go to comedy clubs and events in person. Now everybody can listen to you from anywhere in the world. I lumped comedians, storytellers, and lecturers in the same category since the work would be very similar. Number 8, event organizer. With a player base of millions, why not have events? How you make money doing this depends on how creative you are. Yeah, you could charge admission to an event or sell goods related to the event, but I think you could figure out something more unique. Number 9, show host. So this one might intertwine with event organizer. You could be interviewing interesting people in front of a live, non-studio audience, or you could be presenting a piece of work, like a podcaster or a YouTuber, or even just host debates. Maybe one day we'll have presidential debates in VR. Number 10, stadium owner. So people need a place to hold events or shows or whatever. You would own a world made specifically to be a venue for such things. You could charge a fee for use of the world or collect a portion of the proceeds. Either way, it's a sweet gig. Number 11, land baron. You're just going to speculatively buy and sell land to make a profit. You could also subdivide the land and rent out parcels of it. This seems like a job that only rich people or early adopters could really have. If you're watching this video, you're probably an early adopter. In that case, my advice is don't sell until things get really crazy. Instead, build a business or attraction on that land until then. Number 12, VR Advertisement Designer. We will definitely be getting advertisements in this world. The buildings themselves are basically advertisements for the world they represent. If you owned a building in a popular area, you might want to put advertising space on your building or land. VR advertisements obviously aren't going to be restricted by the laws of physics or anything, so they can be those giant Blade Runner holograms or an army of anime girls running around. VR advertisement is a new playing field, and it's up to you to figure out what works and what doesn't. Number 13, VR therapist. You can open up a therapist's office. Sure, you wouldn't be able to treat a large portion of people, but perhaps certain patients could be helped in VR. Maybe once facial and body tracking get good enough, you could expand on the types of patients you could take. Number 14, lawyer. This field may not have many people. You can't predict what kind of legal issues a VR world may have. But whatever happens in the future, I'm sure there was going to be a lot of copyright lawyers involved. Number 15, VR Matchmaker. With millions of users, VR dating seems inevitable. So this might be similar to owning a dating site, but users will be able to hang out with each other online easily. It'll be an in-between step from messaging each other to seeing each other in real life. Both parties are safe and can see if they're compatible without looks being in the equation. It'll be your job to create a system for VR daters to meet each other. If you get on this one early enough, I'm sure something like Match.com will buy you out. Number 16, VR company. You're a paid friend. I know this sounds depressing, but a lot of people just want someone to hang out with and talk to. You're that person. This is basically a PG version of the hosts that you find in host clubs in Japan, but I'm sure there's going to be non-PG versions of this too. Number 17, club owner or game world owner. So this doesn't have to be a dance club. It's VR, so get creative. You would own a popular destination that people like to gather in. I'm lumping clubs and game worlds together since they would both function similarly. You could put up advertisements or charge membership fee or an entry fee. Maybe your club is exclusive, I don't know. I don't go to clubs, I'm a deer. Number 18, VR store owner. If you already have an e-commerce site, then why not make a VR store? You would need 3D models of the items you're selling and a simple system like Shopify to support it. Or maybe you're going to sell digital goods, I don't know. In any case, you better learn 3D modeling or find someone who knows how. I think this one's going to get real saturated real fast like dropshipping sites, so get in early. Number 19, game show creator. Your job would be creating and running game shows and contests. This one sounds like a lot of fun, but the kind of game shows possible will be limited by the type of VR tech we have available. I'm hoping for game shows more like The Running Man and less like Trivia Crack. Number 20, historian or museum owner. In this job, you would record the big events of this VR world and create presentations on your museum or YouTube channel or whatever. Imagine it being your job to go and participate in all these big happenings in VR. This one sounds like a lot of fun, but you're gonna have to be in VR a lot. Maybe it'll be better just to be a VR archaeologist. And that's it. 20 jobs I think will exist in virtual economies. Thank you for watching this arbitrary list. If you want more arbitrary content in the future, or you're just a good person, please consider subscribing.